Good morning.
Good morning, morning community. Good morning, Clementine. How do you feel this morning?
A little bit tired.
A little bit tired. Let me start with a joke. A small baby said to his father, "Daddy, I want to be beautiful like you." "What do you mean by this?" "Because you clean your face and you're beautiful. A mommy take 1 hour in front of the mirror until she become beautiful." So that was a joke. It's a bit Bulgarian one. If you don't laugh, I will understand. But as you know, today is one of our last days. Tomorrow we finish our Global Morning Community. And we wanted to say a little bit more for our next step, which is Inside Seminar Cyprus seminar in 28th of August. And
until the 30th of August.
Yeah, until the 30th of August. It's going to be an amazing journey. As you see, we are in our new office. From this morning start everything to improvise, and because in Kuala Lumpur the traffic it's a huge traffic, guys. It's not easy to live there. And but let me tell you, as Barbara said, this is life. So we prepare actually a video for you, for Insight.
Yes, but why don't you share first about what is Insight for you?
Okay, let me tell you what is Insight for me. Basically, I read a lot of books, a lot of YouTube videos, and I was the guy who know everything and do nothing. And Insight actually press me the button, the red one, which is start, and I start to do everything I knew from before, and especially with actions. And I will never forget my first day when I went in the room, because I am still Tony Robbins guy, and my big ego, I said, let me see what these guys, they're gonna tell me, I don't know. And on the second day of Insight, actually the first day I was expecting the facilitator to jump like Tony Robbins, the music, to dance. Was nothing like this. But on the second day I fall in love with Insight, and I decided, and I said to myself, I want to be Cyprus.
So let's show what one of the testimonial from the seminar.
Yeah, we prepare a video for you, which is very sweet, and if our support technique. Yes.
Before I finally get up and just do it, I recognize that in myself. So,
walking into Insight seminars, I wasn't sure what to expect.
I used to be very doubtful, questioning what my purpose was in life.
I come from the mindset of no value, worthless, nobody loves me, and all these things from my childhood kind of keeping me in a mental bondage.
I'm amazed at how many people walk in the seminar room feeling like they're not enough.
It's a process of unraveling things that you don't know about yourself, things that you do know, and things that you're resistant of.
Really basically creating a life that we each love. It's about, finding out how we can have health, wealth, purpose, freedom, and building a life where we can do the self-expression we want.
In this moment, what do I want? Do I want love? Do I want money? Do I want more friends? Do I want great grades? Do I want a bright future? What do I want?
What if in just a few days you could come participate with a group of other people and do a whole lot of different kinds of processes, some of them within yourself through creative imagination and visualization, and all of them designed for greater awareness.
There's so many different components of Insight that everyone takes away exactly what they need to take away from this experience.
Everybody has an essence of themselves. And what Insight does is it allows that individual to reach that and to share that with others around them.
It's really just helped me in every single aspect of my life.
The emotional armoring just fell off.
and to really understand that I truly have power and I truly have the opportunity to radiate my power every single day regardless of what I'm affected by. I can still operate out of love, stand in light, and be light.
Every single person who's in that seminar room has the answers, the keys to their own liberation, to their own transformation.
I think it's this group impact that allows that to happen quickly.
To have a group of people all experience it at the same time, that's what changes the game.
After Insight seminars, you'll have the tools you need to live your most powerful life.
I can confidently say that I'm walking away with a new pair of eyes, and I can see the world much more clearly.
Insight gave me the loving support, the safest space to really explore myself.
It was the single biggest event in my life that made me the person I am today.
To see people that have been kind of stuck in life and kind of like wondering, is this all there is?
To heal those places that felt like they had to hide or that were unlovable.
Point Blank Period helps you change your mindset to change your life and to step into your power.
Because of Insight seminars, I can really take power in my life.
Get out of your head and get inside your heart at Insight Seminars.
So Insight is huge fun, guys. We'll change the game for you, having fun after. And because we are a little bit late today, do you want to introduce our guest?
Yes, today we're having Dr. Barbara Schwarck. Hi, Barbara.
Directly from
Hi.
Israel.
Hi, you guys. How you doing?
Good.
We're doing great. You know, it's a bit humidity in Kuala Lumpur, but after this we're going in the mall to buy a nice dress for my wife, for a while to say for myself, for my wife.
You know, maybe you want to try a dress. You know, if you've never had a dress on, this might be a good opportunity for you to step outside your comfort zone. Because after all, it's always, you know, there are the norms, and then there are the opportunities that we have to step outside our comfort zone. So, Casimir, I challenge you today to wear a dress.
Okay, so yeah, I need to see.
You don't have to buy
Size of
one.
the dress.
You know, just like, yeah, see what that's like for you. Yesterday, my son, he decided he wanted his nails polished. And I was like, okay. So I got the nail polish out, and on one hand, he wanted red, and on the other hand, he wanted orange. And today, he went to the kindergarten with his nails polished, and I'm like, good for him. Because how can you know? And this is actually what this is all about. How can we know if something is for us? If we don't allow ourselves to take a risk and step outside our comfort zone to experience something that people are telling us is not for us. You know, this is, I shouldn't be in love with somebody from the same sex. I shouldn't be moving to another country. I shouldn't be, you know, as a man, I shouldn't be polishing my nails. You know, there's all these rules and regulations that we grew up with that we have an opportunity to examine and see if they really work for us. So I want to say one more thing about Insight. Insight is the process that got me started on my journey to personal growth. I've been involved with Insight for just about 30 years, actually. And we've been talking about it a lot, and I thought about it. You know, by now, I think you all have a pretty good idea of why it's important to us and why we're encouraging to do it. And I'm just going to say, you know, if there's hesitation inside of you, that's certainly understandable because it's a big risk to jump into our life and to develop ourselves. But we're inviting you. We would love to play with you, and we're excited. And hopefully, we'll see you there. Okay, so I want to talk about how to create and live and have an amazing life. And if you remember 30 days ago, or just about 30 days ago, I was talking to you about the wheel of life. And everything kind of starts with the wheel of life. Everything starts with that step of where we say, yes, I want more for my life, or I've been putting up with certain things I don't want to put up with anymore, and I want to change that. I want to become a co-creator, and I want to expand and move beyond my comfort zone. And so the wheel of life is a really good tool to take a look at, evaluating those areas of my life, and then focusing in on them and sort of decide, what do I want to do and where do I want to start. So today what I'm going to do, I'm kind of give you my secret recipe on how I approach this process of creation and creating an amazing life and then living the amazing life. And part of living an amazing life means that we always want to enjoy what we have, but we also want to continue to grow. Because the moment that I'm not going to grow, it's like, think about it. I think Offa talks about it sometimes, or he has, the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is a body of water of where there's no fresh water coming into the Dead Sea. And it's like, it's not that it's not valuable, but it's like it's smelly and there's like no real process of life going on. And so stagnant water, if there's a body of water that there's no fresh water that's being added to it, it starts to stink. They say, fish start to stink after a few days if they don't have fresh water. So we want to continuously grow and move ourselves forward. So I have 13 steps that I want to talk about, and I don't really have the expectation, or please don't have the expectation that you are, perfectly able to execute them after this morning. Some of them you have already heard because Traviana or Monica or George and Offer and Mira, we've been talking about them. So now it's just kind of like, how do I put this all together? So just listen, sit back, take some notes, and see which step you want to focus in on at this point in your journey. Okay, so every time that we want to create or manifest something in our life, basically what we're doing is we're starting to think about where we are and where we want to go. And when we bring our focus into something, we want to give ourselves the opportunity to be as clear and as precise about it as we can. And this process of creating and manifesting things, has all these different components. So, and understand that the process of manifestation happens in the conscious and happens in the subconscious and the unconscious. I've talked previously about the brain and the 3 parts of the brain. And if you go back in the morning community, you can listen to that. You can also go to my YouTube channel, and I talk about the brain because it's important that we understand how we work. So the first step is I want to become very clear. I want to get clear on what I want. Now I know it's easier said than done. We are usually, as soon as we want something, we have all these obstacles about why I can't have it. And the obstacles are connected to your unconscious beliefs. So if I say I want to make $1 million, then some of the beliefs that I have about myself come up, and it's too hard to make $1 million, or it's I don't know that I have the right connections to make $1 million. But nevertheless, just like try is not a good word, but put that aside. Take those limiting beliefs and the buts and just put them on pause or put them in a container, and allow yourself just to get really clear. Like, really, if I had a magic wand, what would I want? And write it all down, and so that you can keep it and be present to it. With the goals and the things that you want to set an intention. An intention is kind of the direction that you're going to go towards. The intention is something like a positive quality. If I have a goal of losing weight and being able to run a marathon, my intention would be that I want to feel strong, healthy, and vital. The intention is kind of like the experience that I want to have on the inside, and the goal is kind of the stuff that that shows up on the outside. If I, if one of my goals is I want to have a beach house or live in Kuala Lumpur, what is the intention that I'm going after? Maybe my intention is that I feel like in Kuala Lumpur I can have an easy life, or that I like that culture there, or I feel relaxed, or I feel at home. So my intention is that sort of feeling or experience that I'm looking for. So it's important that you take some time, and I know you did it in the beginning of the 30-day community, and you sort of like look around the wheel, and you created some intention and some goal. Every process starts with that. If I don't know where I'm going to spend a lot of time, maybe going into the desert. Maybe I'll be like Moses, wandering around the desert for, decades and hundreds of years. So the more clarity I have, the easier it will be to move myself forward. Now, the next thing I want to do is, once I have clarity about this goal, I want to use all these manifestation tools. And one of them is to visualize and to see myself, and to see myself in Kuala Lumpur, or see myself thin, or see myself with $1 million. I'm listening to Bob Proctor, and one of the things that he said that he did when he started this process is that he took a roll of bills, money, and he cut them. He took paper and he cut the paper into the exact size of the bill, and then he would roll it up, and on the top he would put a $100 bill, and so he would walk around with this fat roll of bills that were actually paper, just to give him the sense of, I have a roll of $100 bills, and then on the outside he would have the $100 bill, so that it would look like that. There are vision boards, there are manifestations that you can visualize. There are lots of tools. There's affirmations. So in the morning community, I know Straviana, Offa, Monica, all of us have talked about it. They will only work if you actually do them. So think about what it is, think about your goal and your intention, and then start to visualize it. You can write about it, and then you record it. I used to, every morning for 5 minutes, listen to my ideal scene. I had written it out, and then I had recorded it with a lot of energy on my cell phone, and then I would just push play at least once a day, and I would listen to it. And so that there was an active reminder of, what it is that I was going towards. Okay, my number 3 is, this is a big step. Okay, so maybe I know what I want, and I can do my intention, and I can do the visualization, but now I have to be able to allow it, meaning that I am open enough to have this in. A lot of us, what we do is we know what we want, we can do all the stuff, but then we start to sabotage ourselves. Okay, so when I'm talking about allowing things, I am opening myself up, and I'm looking at the obstacles that are presenting themselves. Because whenever I stretch myself, there are bound to come those limiting beliefs that tell me I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, any of those things that we have. And so there's various tools that I can use. Mila talks about, and she teaches a process of releasing. I use muscle testing and use neuroemotional coaching to release it. I'm sure there's other tools and techniques that you can use in order to release. And so you constantly want to put yourself in a process of upgrading and identifying your limiting beliefs, and connecting them, and then bringing them out of the 88% of your sub and unconscious, and so that you can reframe them. As soon as you become conscious of them, you can actually let them go. So it's like when you find an obstacle, don't worry about it. You look at the obstacle like a child, Remember when, or maybe you had a baby, you've watched a baby. When the baby has an obstacle in his or her way, they just go around it, or they move it aside. So it's like we need to get very good at this process of being open and removing our obstacles. Sometimes we fly over them, and sometimes we take a hammer and crush the obstacle. Sometimes we just we transform them. Sometimes we need to let go, and there's a process of letting go that I teach that is very, very specific. I'm from Germany, and I know there's a stereotype, but I believe that when we're systematic about things, when we actually have very, very specific steps to doing something, such as creating a goal and or being open or transforming our beliefs or our unconscious beliefs or letting go of things that are in our way, that we're more likely to actually accomplish it. And it's easier because all I need to do is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And I recorded this about 2 months ago, the process of completing things. So you can also check it out on my YouTube channel. Okay. Another ways that obstacles show up is that from the get-go, we didn't do a good job of creating realistic goals. So if my values and my intentions are conflicting, or if my purpose in life or my purpose for my family is conflicting with my goals, it's going to be harder for me because I can't be having a goal of when I win how many hot dogs can I eat and practice constantly for eating the most hot dogs in the world, and I want to be fit and healthy. They kind of don't work together. Or I can't be having a goal of I want to spend all my time with my family, and yet I want to be an international speaker and travel around the world. I need to somehow find and create my goals, and so that they're not in conflict with one another. Let's see, what else do I want to talk? Other obstacles that are probably familiar to you, besides those beliefs that are conflicting with your goals and where you want to go, and actually the kind of byproduct of it is the negative self-talk. I said already, I talked about the unworthiness and the inability for us to receive feedback. One of the ways that we keep ourselves stuck is when we're not paying attention to the feedback that we're getting from the universe. So, there's actually a lecturette in Insight that's brilliant because the facilitator demonstrates all the different ways that we can get feedback. Some of us, we complain, and some of us, we fall apart, and some of us, we close our ears. So be open to the feedback, and you can just say, hey, this worked great for me, or this didn't work so well for me. So always be a yes woman or a yes man in terms of, I'm going to listen, I'm going to consider it, and then you can decide, ultimately what you want to do with it. Number 4, take inspired action. What do I mean by that? So, nothing happens in a vacuum. If I want to have a new Mercedes, it's not going to come to my bedroom. So I did all these steps. I'm clear about it. I know what the color is. I know what model I want. I know why I want it. I've removed all the obstacles, and now I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm meditating. Dear Lord, please bring me the Mercedes. It's unlikely that the Mercedes is going to roll into my bedroom. It's unlikely that one day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to wake up fit. So it's unlikely that I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to have $1 million. Maybe. I'm always open to the impossible. But in order for me to really stay on course, I want to take inspired action. And the emphasis is on inspired action, because what I want to do, I want it to be in line with my goals and my intentions, and I want to be excited about it. So yesterday, I have this goal of exercising 5 times a week, and I have a trampoline, a rebounder. And, I got bored being on the trampoline, and I'm like, this is not inspired action for me. It's just not going to be fun for me just to be jumping on the trampoline and doing my exercises. Like, what can I do in order to feel inspired about it? And all of a sudden came in this great idea that I'm going to listen to, Bob Proctor, or I listen to Tony Robbins while I'm on the trampoline. I know my exercises. And so on one screen, I have, my exercises for the trampoline for 55 minutes, and then on my phone I have Tony Robbins or Bob Proctor or somebody who's inspiring me, and I'm listening, and I'm actually now really, really listening, because I am doing something with my body, and I found that this is a great way for me to take in new information, because my resistance is a little low, because I'm not antsy about being stagnant, and I'm taking inspired action about my goal. So, spend some time and take a look at how can I combine these things and what would make sense for me, and so that I can be inspired about the things that I'm doing. If you keep doing things over and over and over and over again, and you're not really inspired about it, and you're just going through the motion of taking the action, you really might want to evaluate your goal, because maybe you need to adjust it a little bit. Okay, so there's a fine line between sabotaging yourself and just doing something and just falling flat all the time. Number 5, make sure that what you want is 50% believable. I already talked a little bit about it. If it's not at least 50% believable, it will just be harder, because your beliefs and the universe is going to give you more obstacles. It's not that you can't do it, but it's just, I highly recommend that you have things 50% believable. Number 6, this is kind of a challenging one. It was challenging for me in the beginning. Have high involvement, but no attachment to the outcome. Okay, let me say this again. High involvement, meaning I'm really, really, really committed. I'm not just wanting to get a little pregnant. I am actually committed to getting pregnant. And I have low attachment to the outcome. So what does that mean? It means that I'm opening myself for better things to come. Because I am not assuming that I know everything there is to know, and that I always know what's best for me. I do work with the universe. I do believe in the law of attraction. And so I'm saying to the universe, to God, hey, if there's something better for me that you have in store, or a better way to go about it, or a better way to bring it in, I'm open to that. If I, for instance, want as my goal is to have my wrist, and I am, you can follow along with me here. I'm holding on to my wrist, and this is my goal, and I'm totally attached to my wrist. Okay, this is all I have. I am not very flexible to anything else, because I have my goal. So maybe I have my Mercedes and I have my house on the beach, but this is all I have. And maybe there are some greater things that could come along with it in terms of experience that I'm not available to, because I am totally attached to this. So in the moment that I let go and say, yes, this is what I'm focusing on and I'm committed to it, and this is the direction that I'm going, the universe can really support me much better in what it is that I want. Okay, what else do I want to say? Number 7, evaluate your outcomes and make adjustments as needed. So this is a little bit like receiving feedback. I want to look at, okay, so I'm exercising 5 days a week. And am I getting the results that I want? Or maybe do I need to tweak it a little bit? Maybe actually I need to exercise less and I need to exercise longer. Or maybe I need to do shorter every day. So, I want to evaluate based on how am I feeling, what my results are, and so that I can stay on course. Or maybe I need to, I have a few clients that want to quit smoking. And at the same time, they are really experiencing some difficult things, and they really want to quit smoking. And my recommendation was, hey, let's focus on these things, okay? Because if we're going to throw this other challenging thing into the mix, I think it's going to be too much. And so sometimes I need to say, okay, this comes first. It's like building a house. I can't put the roof on if I don't have the foundation. And so let's put a good foundation in. Let's really maybe learn how to be very disciplined, because if you're disciplined and you're clear about this process, then all these other things will be easy for you. Okay, so we evaluate and we look at, how am I doing with what I want to create. Casimir, actually, I want to thank you for 3 months ago, really encouraged me to do Facebook Live and, to just do more of these sort of reaching out to the people that I want to work with. And my first Facebook Live, I was quiet for 5 minutes because I didn't understand the technology, and I didn't know, I was a novice and I was clueless. And then I got feedback, and for a while I would record myself and send Casimir 1-minute videos, and I would do this with other people, and I got some feedback, and I incorporated the feedback, and I got better at it. And on Saturday I did a seminar for women all over the world on emotional intelligence and leadership after Corona, and I felt perfectly comfortable. And it's because I took the feedback and, I expanded my comfort zone and created a goal. and let myself be supported. So thank you, Casimir. Yes, evaluate your outcomes and make adjustments as needed. Number 8, celebrate your wins and acknowledge yourself, and really take the time to appreciate yourself for the stretching that you're doing. There's this part in ourselves that's called the basic self, and the basic self loves acknowledgement. Now, in the past, sometimes we acknowledge the basic self with in ways that are not necessarily supportive. So the basic self, it's supports you and supplies you with energy and the things that you want to do. And so I might want to say, hey, basic self, I'm going to take you for ice cream. That might not be the best way to support myself, because it kind of goes against of what I'm working. So they might be, hey, how about, we sit down and we have a piece of watermelon or something, that there's other ways that I can support my basic self. And so that I want to be smart about it. So, but celebrate my wins, acknowledge myself every day, and not just saying, hey, Barbara, you did a great job, but really be specific about it. I see you, because if I can't see me, how can I see you? I wrote about a post about what's going on in the United States. And, for me, it's like, if I can't appreciate myself, love myself, accept myself, how can I do this with other people? There's always going to be some limitation in the way that I can really fully embrace the other, okay? Because I haven't really done this with myself. Number 9, take a moment, and these are the things that we've been doing, to every day be grateful, practice being grateful, kindness, generosity, and forgiveness. So this is the glue that keeps us going as we're moving ourselves forward in those steps. Let me say that again: gratefulness, kindness, generosity, and forgiveness. One of the things that really impressed me with Bob Proctor, is that he says he's not wasting time on getting back at people that hurt him, or he's just not spending any time in the negative realm, because there's the law of cause and effect. And I know about this. It's like I've heard about this 30 years ago. So it's like, if somebody said something negative to you, or somebody hurt you in some ways, it's like I am really practicing every day just to absorb that, to take that, to neutralize that inside of me, and so that I can just take out generosity and kindness, and bring that kind of energy to the universe. It's not easy, because sometimes I get mad and my buttons get pushed, and all I want to go is yell, or do something that's destructive. Number 11, get complete. And I said this a little bit earlier. Really look at the things that you need to get complete with. If your house is messy and you want to start creating, take some time to complete and clean up, because it's easier to create when when we have a clean slate. If you have a lot of relationships there's some correction that need to happen, do that, and so that you won't get distracted. Really, I invite you to go to my YouTube channel. If you want to be kind enough, like my YouTube channel, because that will help me, and take a look. It's about 25 minutes. I think it's like one of the YouTube videos that I did that I feel good about and I'm really proud of. So complete. Maybe there's something that you've been wanting to say or do. I think Offer also did a session of when he talked about the mind dump and writing things down and completing things. It's very, very good exercise. And number 12. Update your beliefs. So this is kind of like a step of where I want you to constantly look at when you are bumping up against a belief, and when you're not moving forward, that you say, what is my belief? And get it out yourself. Do the best that you can to tap into that unconscious. Obviously, it's easy to do with something called muscle testing, or with the help of Mira, but it's like something that you can also work with yourself and learn how to get as deep as possible, especially if you write with your opposite hand, when you in your meditation, and when you just allow yourself to be curious. Last but not least, last step is number 13. I always, and I alluded a little bit to this, I want to ask for my goal, for my intention, to be for my highest good and for the highest good of all concerned. And this for me is kind of my send off button. And then I say, it's in your hand, God. I happen to believe in God and I work with the universe. If that's not your thing, maybe you can just have the vision of that there is a group of people, a greater community that is supporting you in accomplishing your goals, your intention, your vision, and so that you know that you're not alone. For me, it's kind of like, okay, this or something better for the highest good of all concerned, because I know that I'm a co-creator with God, and that I'm in this process with God, with you, with my community, because we are all one. And as you are winning in your fantasy and as you are growing, it is a win for all of us. And I'm contributing to you as I am moving myself forward, and you are contributing to me as you move yourself forward. So I thank you all for being part of this community and all the work that you're doing on yourself.
Thank you, Barbara.
We have
Thank you.
some questions after in the comments, if you have time to answer them after, because now we are running out of time.
I have time. I'm happy to answer all the questions.
Okay, great. Do you want to do your gratitude, my love?
Okay. So take a deep breath in and hold. And release. And again. And release. And one more time. I'm so thankful and grateful for all this community we have, for all the people supporting us, the coaches and the person who create all this lovely studio, my friend from Bulgaria. So thankful and grateful for our next step inside seminars. I'm so thankful and grateful for my wife, which is supporting me and from time to time it's making me to go out of my zone of comfort. So thankful and grateful for my baby, which is, well, anytime I see her I believe in God. So thankful and grateful for the food I have in the fridge and my lovely wife cooked. Where do you want to continue?
I'm so thankful and grateful for my children who give me some love, happiness. I'm so thankful and grateful for my husband who helped me to grow as he pushed my button. I'm so thankful and grateful for this morning community, for all the coaches that come forward here. And I'm so thankful and grateful for this beautiful day that's coming. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So we wish you a beautiful day and see you tomorrow.
And guys, I'll give you advice, stop the Swiss, because I realize my airbag is growing rapidly and I cannot stop. So now I need to go to the gym working 2 times more. This is advice from the person who is already growing enough. Don't understand self-development like this from what we are doing now. It's completely different stories. So Barbara, can I ask you after to send us all these 13 rules, how to say? And
Yes, I
yes,
can send it. I can send it to you, and I'll.
we can post them in the group.
I can post them in the group, and I'm starting a 13-week course to take everybody through it.
Amazing. Okay, so let's go and have fun.
Yeah. So see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
Yes, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.